Peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the differences between jail and prison. Now, if we wanted to summarize, we would just say that jail is a place where you are detained for a crime and you're still going to court fighting your case. And prison is a place where you already been handed your sentence and you're just going to like do your time until you come home. So, but there's so much more to it, right? Like being in jail, it's also like it's a different environment than being in a prison. So, for example, in jail is like, well, I'm from New York City, so in New York State, like we usually go to Rikers Island, and in Rikers Island is like most of the guards are from your neighborhood or they look like you, they black, Latino, or whatever the case might be. It's more familiarity, right? Because they usually live in the inner cities just like you, so it's a different type of treatment. There's still a lot of like bull crap going on, but it's like you still get to see like the streets when you go to court. You still kind of like be able to be hopeful because you're still fighting your case. Because technically is you're innocent to proven guilty, although they already look at you like you're guilty, but it's still like that hopefulness, right? In contrast, when you already got your time, like the moment you get sentenced to like more than a year, you usually go to state prison. And when you go to straight state prison, it's usually like in a rural town, upstate New York, one of these towns, right, where there used to be like farms, or sometimes you see cows, horses, and stuff like that along the way when you're going to prison, right? And it's usually like a small town, white population. They usually like racist as hell, so it's a different environment. Not just being in the prison, but like the environment that is surrounding the prison is totally different. So the atmosphere in prison, like the way the guards treat you, the way the guards already like looking at you. Some of them are blatant with their racism. So I would say like there's a difference of environment. Like you're still gonna be, most of the people in state prisons anyway are like black and Latino, but there's also like more white people. Cause like for example in Rikers Island it might be like 11% of white people might see some white people in Rikers Island, right? But if you go upstate, you technically do see a little more white people. You see a little more of them because like you up there, you're like in their towns. Like in New York City, you don't really have a lot of white folks, so you're not really gonna. Not that you don't have a lot of white folks, you don't have a lot of poor white folks in the city. So when you get to those towns up there, there tends to be more poor whites, and poor whites live in similar conditions to black people, right? So yeah, there's those little differences, right? Also in a state prison, you get more room, you get more, you get to go to work. Well, you have to go to work, right? Because once you're convicted of a felony, you lose a lot of your rights. While you still in city jails, you still have a lot of your rights, because technically you're a detainee, you're not a convict, right? So you still have some rights while you are in city jail. When you go upstate to prison, you lose a lot of rights. Another thing, so when you lose those rights, you have to work. And another thing is that when you get up there, it's like you go through this like humiliating process of like you gotta cut your hair bald. You had to like bend over and spread your cheeks. That was like the most humiliating thing I ever experienced as a man. Like doing that in front of another man, like that was just crazy. But the process of dehumanization up there, I feel like it's totally different. But the only thing is like it's less searches up there. Like you don't really gotta worry about like getting searched all the time because you're already like just in your jail. You're just there to serve your time and like you have a date to come home. So those are some of like the differences. Also like in city jails, it's closer to your house. Like people could visit you more. What else? Like the food is also kind of like different. Like when you get upstate, you kind of like could cook better stuff, you know. So it's just like not much differences, but there is differences in the environment because like I said, like there's those guards, those racist guards that sometimes be killing people and they be just out to get people. Um, so that's just, I could share a whole bunch of other stuff, but like I just wanted to like kind of like keep some of those differences. Also, when you get upstate, they give you like state greens. It's like a uniform basically. In when I was in Rikers Island, they didn't really have like a designated uniform. Like you could get sweatsuits and stuff like that. Upstate, you could get sweatsuits too, but you only could wear that stuff when you go into the yard and stuff like that. And you could go to like recreation as many times in the day, depending on what jail you in. I mean, what prison you in. But in the city jail, you only get 1 hour. You know, you're only gonna get 1 hour to go outside, and that's it. You're not getting more than that. If you're in the max, sometimes two. You know, but that's another story for another time. Or peace.